Victoria Street right now. Just outside number 10 Victoria Street, which I didn't realise until the other day is home to the National Police Commissioners Council. I'm not even sure if you can even hear me. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Me no wear headphone no more, so I don't know. Yeah, number 10. So although like Scotland Yard has moved out of number 10, part of the police actually stayed. Well, Scotland Yard moved out of 10 Broad Street, and part of them are actually now in 10 Victoria Street, which is, you can tell it's sort of a security building because it's got like mirrored windows and everything. And God, the cloud formations have been so weird today. Let me just, well, I'm going to go down to Parliament Square so I can tell you something about that building. But just have a look at this time lapse I took earlier on of like the weird clouds, and see how they are just sort of melting through the sky in proper, you know, the proper chemtrail way. Yeah, just going to go down to Parliament Square because it's a little bit less noisy, possibly, and I want to try and read something to you that from the National Police Commissioner's Office. I thought it would be quieter, but there's a guy playing the bagpipes. It's not particularly quiet, really. Oh, the scaffold is going up pretty quick on Big Ben. I mean, just look at that. They've dug a massive hole next to it as well, so the entire road is shut off. So that's making the town pretty awkward, to be honest, but there we go. You can see it's nearly 5 o'clock. Let me try and do this. Got to try and like point it at Robert Peel and tell you about something. Well, let's start with saying that when Robert Peel formed the police force, they were very, very, very unpopular. People thought that they were spies in the community, basically just collecting information on them and giving it to the authorities. And of course the idea at the time was, oh no, of course not, they're just friendly members of the public, just dressed like police officers. They're not spies or anything. So I just wanted to try and read you this thing from the Police Commissioner's Office. Okay, so obviously the police are having a bit of a shortfall in their funding, and this is the Police Chief Council's chairman, Constable Dave Thompson, and he's talking about like the problems with the police force and what we can do about funding. He says, the answer cannot simply to do more in the shadows or to be better armed. A significant cohort of those influenced by extremist views live in communities where public services have a legitimacy deficit. Visible, accessible policing cannot afford to shrink further. Police leaders value local neighbourhood policing so strongly, not from a dewy-eyed, sentimental yearning for the past, but because it helps us to gather intelligence, prevent harm, and build public trust. Local neighbourhood policing is valued because it helps them to gather intelligence. That is basically an agreement that Robert Peel should turn in his grave or something. I don't know. What is interesting about that is that they say that people with extremist views are generally in areas where you know, there's a lack of sort of social resources or whatever, meaning they're being angered against the government. This is what he's saying anyway. They're being angered against the government because of the lack of like social services. If you ask me, that is an attempt, in the textbooks at least, to cobble together lefty extremists, righty extremists and Islamic extremists all into one big club so that they can then target them all with surveillance and local policing. So just bear in mind that when you see like police officers milling amongst the people, being very, very nice to them, they are in fact just trying to extract information that they can then write down, possibly video, and give to their leaders. It's good to know, isn't it? Good to know that they're revolutionising policing as we know it. You may know that the main news today is that Theresa May has actually formed a government with the DUP. They are actually raging on social media. They're calling it bribery, which is quite interesting, seeing as basically the whole of democracy is basically just a form of bribery, as in, vote for me, you'll get this. No, vote for me, you'll get this, and it's much better what you'll get with the other guy. You should definitely vote for me because it will benefit your own pocket. I mean, the whole of democracy is bribery, so that doesn't make sense. In a way, you could see it as the Conservative Party funneling money. It's what, £1.5 billion or something, being funneled through the DUP, which is actually exactly what I said. If you remember in a video a few weeks back, I was talking about that very concept. So in terms of like shuffling dodgy political money, Northern Ireland is the perfect choice for Theresa May. In a way, if you ask me, we should really do exactly what Theresa May tells us to do. We should accept her as the glorious imperial leader and just you know, we need to go along with everything she says, because otherwise shit will start blowing up. I mean, that's how dangerous I think possibly Theresa May is. We need to do what she says, and we need to go along with her plans, otherwise shit will get fucked up. And I remember one time when I heard David Cameron say, when he was Prime Minister and they were doing the vote on whether or not we should bomb Syria or be part of the bombing in Syria, David Cameron said something like, we need to take part in the bombing of Syria because it will help to keep this country much, much safer. And everyone was like, oh God, that doesn't make any sense. But it does, you see, because if you don't go along with their imperial plans, they start blowing stuff up. False flag terrorism, essentially. And that's how I see what's going on with Theresa May, you know. Got to go along with her because she's such a dangerous individual. So let's hope that the radicals don't complain too much about Theresa May, because people will literally die. What a lovely, positive message.